Erling had always considered himself a practical man. As the chief engineer aboard the interstellar research vessel Prometheus, he dealt in facts, figures, and the cold mathematics of space travel. So when Princess Emily of the Celestian Empire boarded their ship, as part of a diplomatic exchange program, he knew immediately that getting involved with her would be a mistake. She was breathtaking, of course. Her skin shimmered with an ethereal luminescence that marked her royal lineage, and her eyes held the depth of galaxies he'd never explored. The traditional Celestian robes she wore seemed to flow like liquid starlight, adapting to her movements in ways that defied human physics. But beauty, Erling reminded himself constantly, was irrelevant when dealing with someone whose very existence could spark an interplanetary incident. The first week passed easily enough. Emily attended her diplomatic briefings while Erling buried himself in engine maintenance schedules. He caught glimpses of her in the corridors, always surrounded by her honor guard and human liaisons, always graceful, always seeming to search the crowd for something or someone. By the second week, avoiding her became more challenging. The Prometheus wasn't a small vessel, but it wasn't infinite either. They shared the same mess hall, the same observation decks, the same recreational facilities. Erling found himself memorizing her schedule, timing his meals and breaks to ensure their paths wouldn't cross. When she entered a room, he found an excuse to leave. When she approached the viewport he frequented to watch the stars, he retreated to his quarters. His colleagues noticed. Of course, Dr. Chen, the ship's xenobiologist, cornered him one evening in the engine room. "You're being ridiculous," she said bluntly. "The princess has been asking about you." Erling's hands stilled on the plasma conduit he'd been adjusting. "Why would she ask about me?" "Maybe because you're the only person on this ship who runs away every time she enters a room." Chen raised an eyebrow. "It's actually becoming embarrassing. She thinks she's offended you somehow." "She hasn't," Erling muttered, returning to his work with unnecessary force. "I'm just busy." "You're a coward," Chen said, not unkindly. "And I don't know why." But Erling knew. He'd read the reports, studied the cultural briefings. Celestian princesses were bound by intricate codes of honor and duty. Any romantic entanglement with an alien, especially a common engineer like himself, could have severe diplomatic repercussions. Her family could see it as a disgrace. The alliance between Earth and the Celestian Empire, still fragile after decades of negotiation, could crumble. He couldn't risk it. He wouldn't risk it, no matter how his heart ached every time he caught a glimpse of her laughter, no matter how he wondered what her voice sounded like when she spoke his name. Week 3 became week 4. Erling's avoidance became almost an art form. He knew which maintenance shafts led away from her usual routes, which duty shifts would keep him far from her presence. He stopped attending the weekly all-hands meetings, claiming engine emergencies that didn't exist. It couldn't last forever. On day 28 of the voyage, Erling was working in the starboard observation bay, a typically deserted area during gamma shift. He'd chosen it specifically because Emily would be at a formal dinner with the captain. He had the calculations wrong. The door hissed open behind him. He didn't need to turn around to know who it was. He could feel her presence like a change in atmospheric pressure. "Why do you hate me?" Her voice was soft, musical, with the slight harmonic quality that marked all Celestian speech. It was also trembling. Erling's shoulders tensed. "Your Highness, don't lie to me." The command in her voice made him turn. What he saw stopped his breath. Princess Emily stood in the doorway, her honor guard dismissed, her composure shattered. Tears, actual tears that glowed faintly blue in the dim lighting, tracked down her cheeks. Her hands were clenched at her sides, and her luminescence flickered like a failing star. "For weeks, I have watched you flee from me," she continued, her voice breaking. "I have tried to understand what I did to earn your contempt. I have asked myself if my appearance disgusts you, if my culture offends you, if my very presence aboard this ship is somehow wrong." "Emily," he caught himself. "Princess, it's not. I don't care about titles right now." She stepped forward, and Erling could see her whole body shaking. "I came on this voyage because I wanted to understand your people, to build bridges between our worlds. And I hoped." She pressed a hand to her mouth, fighting for composure. "I felt something when I first saw you, a connection. But you won't even look at me." Erling felt something crack inside his chest. All his careful reasoning, all his practical justifications, crumbled in the face of her pain he had caused. "I was protecting you," he said quietly. Emily's eyes widened. "What? Your reputation, your family's honor, the alliance." The words tumbled out. "Do you know what would happen if anyone thought there was something between us? I'm nobody, Emily. I fix engines and recalibrate plasma cores. Your royalty. Your people have protocols about this sort of thing, and I've read every single one of them." Understanding dawned in her eyes, followed by something that looked like anger. "You read the protocols?" "Every document in the cultural database," Erling admitted. "I know about the marriage laws, the honor codes. Did you read the Reformation Accords of 2000 to 147? Emily interrupted. Erling blinked. "The what?" A laugh escaped her, watery but genuine. "The treaty that abolished the old marriage restrictions. The one that says Celestian royalty can choose their own partners, regardless of species or status, as long as the choice is made freely and with full consent." He stared at her. "That's not in the cultural database. It was ratified 3 months before this voyage began," Emily said, wiping her tears away. "It's why my family allowed me to come on this mission. They knew I wanted to see other worlds, meet other people, maybe find," she trailed off, a faint blush coloring her cheeks, "maybe find someone who saw me as Emily, not just as a princess." Erling felt like the deck had shifted beneath his feet. "I've been an idiot, a well-intentioned idiot," Emily said softly, stepping closer. "But yes, an idiot nonetheless." For the first time in weeks, Erling allowed himself to really look at her, not as a diplomatic problem to be avoided, but as Emily, brilliant, brave, and beautiful, standing before him with hope and vulnerability in her eyes. "I'm sorry," he said, "for all of it, for making you feel unwanted when the truth is—" He took a breath. "The truth is, I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since the moment you boarded this ship." Her smile could have lit entire solar systems. "Then perhaps we should start over. Hello, Erling. My name is Emily. Would you like to watch the stars with me?" He took her offered hand, marveling at the warmth of her touch. "I would like that very much," as they stood together at the viewport, watching nebulae drift past in colors no human name could capture. Erling realized that sometimes the most practical thing a person could do was to stop being practical and simply be brave enough to feel.